Hi, we're here with Callan Hedgeland. Again, this is his second time doing an interview. The last time we talked a little bit about his thoughts on college and how that's going. He is in his last semester of college, hopefully finishing this semester with a multidisciplinary studies degree. Today, I think we're going to take a little bit of a turn and talk about something different. What's on your mind, Callan?
Yeah, so I was thinking about kind of with different, this kind of has to do with my tech job a little bit, but we were talking recently in the office about how people's data is getting used online when it comes to social media and different shopping experiences online, how their data can be used, I think, going forward, and how I think it's going to kind of be a game changer over like the next decade or so.
Okay, you'll have to explain it a little bit more to me because I'm not very tech savvy. So tell me a little bit more about what your opinion is on all of this data.
So I guess a good example to start out with is how if you look 5 years ago, even 10 years ago, if you had an account with any sort of website, it was the standard that your password would never become compromised, and your private information would never be online or used in any way. Now it's become almost a expectation that you will have an account of some sort hacked, usually once yearly, with how much people are shopping online and how much people are interacting with stuff online. And a lot of people use the same passwords over all their accounts, and their information is getting hacked on large scales of multiple millions of people's data. And then you recently have, in the past year, the European laws that were passed that required websites to show something to you on their website, saying that you agree to have European websites collect and use your data. You have to physically say something now in Europe for all websites in Europe, where the United States doesn't have anything like that. So any website can use what's called a cookie to track all of your browsing habits online. Everything that you do online is being tracked by hundreds of websites. That's why you see, if you're shopping for something on one website, that's why you'll immediately see an ad on a different website for what you were just shopping for. And
which is kind of terrifying to me anyways. I know probably a lot of other people agree with that, where they're like, oh, people are listening to us or things like that.
Or even recently, within this past Christmas, you probably saw a lot of whether it was smart home offers or just any sort of offer that was tech related. A lot of the promotions where you would get a free Google Home or free Amazon Alexa device. And there's still debates about how much information Google and Amazon are using just by this. We have one right here. It could be listening to our conversation right now. And we have no idea. And they're being given away for free to millions of houses across the United States and the world. And just the access to all that data is getting kind of crazy.
So what are your thoughts? Because I know just now you gave me an example, but do you think it's something that's accurate, something that's actually happening? Like, I know a lot of people take either like the scientific approach or, the other approach. What are your thoughts on that?
My personal thoughts is, I use a password protector that creates really secure randomized passwords across everything. because I think within the next 10 years, there's either going to be some giant data breach that affects almost everyone, or it's just going to be accepted that you can look at anything anyone's done online, good or bad. So I'd be able to look at everything you've looked up on Google or anything bad as well. That was just going to be your coworkers. Anyone can look that up about anyone, I think.
Even if you clear your browsing history or anything like that.
Yeah. I think people, we haven't really had a case where it's been a breach that's on such a large scale that everyone's worried about it. And I think in the future, I think even right now, I don't think anything I do online is secure, and I've kind of come to accept that. Mm-hmm. And I don't really post a lot online or anything, and I think that's part of the reason why. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what brought this conversation on? What triggered that?
Let's see. As far as recently, it was the Facebook
shutdown, or not shutdown?
No, not even the shutdown. It was just I think it was trending on social media where it was you would, millions of people were posting what they looked like now compared to what they looked like 10 years ago. Two photos that were side by side. Mm-hmm. And there was a rumor that Facebook had started this trend to basically, it led to the largest by far data set of age progression over a period of 10 years to where there were talks of how technology like that could be used to find criminals that have been missing for 10 years, or good cases find children that have been missing for 10 years because now they have all these pictures of what people look like, and mm-hmm. they can use that for facial recognition and everything else. But there was talk of how it could be used for bad too, to where using that technology, the example they gave was insurance companies could look at that and see and either give you life insurance or not based on how your face looks right now compared to how it looked 10 years ago. They'd be able to identify what your health looks like and if you're more at risk just based on that. And there's a lot of negative things that come with that, and we just gave it all away for free. So that was kind of something that happened recently, I guess, that kind of made me start thinking about it a little bit more. But I'm involved in technology every day at my job, and my major is in technology too. So yeah. What are your thoughts on it? I'm kind of curious on how how much you think about this kind of stuff whenever you do stuff online.
I don't really necessarily think about that because like I said, I'm not very tech savvy. I have my things that I go to: Facebook, Netflix, Hulu, Canvas. Yeah. And that's the gist of it, online shopping. But I don't like it when something pops up and I had just been talking about it, or something along those lines where there is something that, I was just talking about a pair of shoes and they just pop up. I don't like that because I feel like that artificial intelligence is always kind of looming over you, or Big Brother is what people like to say. So that's probably the only time that I actually think about it. I think it's something that I probably should be more aware of, but it more concerns me with our elder generation, especially with our grandparents who are not as good with technology and there's so many of those scams out there where these people are getting someone's number from the internet and calling them and saying, "Hi, my your granddaughter is in in trouble. Deposit this much money," or whatever. Mm-hmm. So that freaks me out. I don't appreciate that kind of using that technology for bad, of mm-hmm. course. But there's nothing I can do about that kind of thing. I think it's it's good and it's bad. Just like technology is changing every single day, but sometimes, you don't know if it's going to be beneficial or not. So
if you want to be freaked out, look on. I think you have to do it on like the desktop, like on your computer. But if you go on your Facebook account, and there's a way where you go to view, because there's being like a Facebook friend, and there's also just following your posts and seeing what you post.
Right.
You can go to you can see all the people that are following your posts and filter to people that you aren't friends with. And I remember I did that one time and had probably 5 to 10 people that I had never heard of or seen before that were foreign people that were just seeing everything I was posting. And it's creepy.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get any notifications about it or anything. So.
Right. And I know that you really have to look at your like privacy laws and things like that are on, or privacy procedures that are on Facebook or things like that. But what is actually truly private? I mean, we don't really know.
That's the thing. If you assume that nothing is private, I think it's better off to assume that. Like,
just even be cautious.
Any images on Snapchat, anything that you send, anything you look at, like, we may know it all in the future. So.
It's terrifying, but it's an interesting topic to bring up. Yeah. So we'll definitely want to continue this conversation at a later time because it's really interesting. Not something that I personally think of every day, but I can see how you would think of it a lot since you're in the technology field. Mm-hmm. So thanks for stopping by and talking with me.
My pleasure.
Maybe stop the video.